Welcome to Best Life Ever, the podcast with your hosts, time and energy coaches, Kimi and Pua. Here at Best Life Ever, we are on a mission to expand the way people think, work, and live in today's modern world. Today, we have an interview with Tarah Long. Tarah is a spiritual life and health coach for Galactic Beings and ALL beings. Tarah assists those who feel like they don't belong, whether here on Earth, in their family, in their job, or relationship. In today's episode, you're going to find all about what that means. And Tarah just has such amazing energy and such a refreshing outlook on life. You're going to love our fun and fascinating conversation. She takes us through a grounding meditation. She talks about what it means to have true financial freedom. And she shares with us a number of practical and spiritual tools for personal empowerment.
Awesome. We are so excited to share Tarah with you guys. But first, we wanted to share an amazing 5-star review with you guys. We got this on iTunes, and this review is from Cubby's Blue. And they wrote, "Cool tools. They give real and sincere information, and it's fun to hear them share. They are the real deal. I've used some of their tips already, and I like the small tweaks I can make to improve myself and feel better about myself at work and at home. I look forward to more podcasts." Yay! Thank you so much, Cubby's Blue, for that awesome review. And don't worry, there are many more podcasts to come. Enjoy today's episode, you guys.
Welcome, Tarah Long, to the podcast. How are you?
Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I'm fantastic.
Oh, we've been looking forward to this. We are so excited to connect with you today. And so first, to kick things off, we would just love for you to share with us and our audience, what do you do for our world? What is a spiritual life and health coach for Galactic Beings and ALL beings? We'd love to hear more.
Oh, thank you for asking. That is a question that I think every time comes out a little bit differently, but it'll be the right thing. So a spiritual life and health coach is someone, so for me, I focus on a little, I guess, the deeper levels or the transformational levels of someone versus just the results or transactional levels. And that's what I think for me, a spiritual coach does, is we're getting a little bit deeper. So when I say galactic beings and all beings, it's really an activation of that energy that we all bring that is of who we really are. So your infinite nature, that connection to that. So I help people who, a lot of beings who come here from other places, other planets. I know that might sound crazy, but we come here and we don't totally feel like we belong in this world or on this planet. And so I help them to feel at home and to actually thrive here instead of feeling sad and like they want to go home and maybe lonely and depressed. So I help those people to actually activate their ancient energy, to rise, to meet their soul's calling, fulfill their soul's calling, to actually raise the vibration of Earth, which is why we came here. It's why certain beings came here at this time, is to help to raise Earth vibration, the vibration of all humans, so that we can fully, really unconditionally love and accept ourselves first, and then others, and then we can return to love on this planet, which is, we really, really need that right now. So.
Wow. I love that. And so Tarah has a podcast, and I just really love, first of all, just listening to your voice, and also your total non-judgmental nature and invitation to people who are resonating with this description to just listen and breathe and find acceptance in a place where they may have never really felt accepted. Does that sound about right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. That's just beautiful, Pua.
Thank you. So awesome. I really like the breath work that you do on your podcasts, and feel free to, do this however you may on ours. But would you do a version of that with us today?
Sure. Yeah. So thank you. I love doing this. It's funny because I do it on my podcast, like at the beginning to kind of ground and center everyone. And then I get so relaxed that sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I'm doing a show now. I have to bring myself back. So yeah. So at the beginning of my show, I always just invite people to really ground themselves, really connect. So at this moment, I will also invite you ladies and your listeners to, if you can, if you're at a place where you can close your eyes, you can do that. If you're not, that's also fine. And just really bring yourself into the space that you're in. And just breathe and just focus on the breath that is moving in and out of yourself. And just your natural relaxed breath. And as you breathe in, you can bring it all the way down into the lungs, into the diaphragm, and down into the abdomen if you'd like, really filling up the entire space. And just knowing that the breath you're breathing is the most nutritious breath for you in this moment, offering you everything you need. Really bringing all aspects of yourself into the space. All the aspects of yourself, all the galactic and infinite aspects, all the human aspects, whatever needs to be seen, whatever needs to be heard, whatever needs to be loved and accepted today. Just bring it in without judgment. Really feeling the space of your heart and how when you feel that love for yourself first, your heart can expand. And it can expand in your chest, beyond the chest, out into the world, really feeling that love that you are, that is around you. Feeling grateful for this moment, knowing that as you listen to this podcast today, that you will get exactly what you need, just connecting with your higher self, asking that you will get exactly what you need, guiding you to the highest version of you, for the highest good of yourself and the highest good of all. One more deep breath. And then you can open your eyes whenever you're ready and return to the space that you're in.
Wow.
I know what you mean. I gotta snap myself back.
I'm like, okay, and we're done.
I know. It was a quick one. I didn't want to take up the whole show,
Oh, like a massage. Like you never want it to end.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, thank you. That was so beautiful. And it's so special to us because I think that really captures just what it feels like to be in your presence and in your energy. And, we've gotten to know each other, especially really well recently. And every time I am with you, we have such amazing conversations. And I always leave reminded of our infinite nature, our limitless potential. And it's so easy to slip into a place of lack, a place of fear in this world. I mean, we're surrounded by that on many levels every day, right? Whether it's in the news and the people that we surround ourselves every day. And it's so refreshing and it feels like truth, being around you and hearing you speak and the words that you speak, it just feels like truth. And Pua has mentioned this once.
Aww.
She said that we feel so safe around you. And Pua's like, I don't have any reason not to feel safe, but I just feel safe. And it is so true. And I think that is a symptom of being in truth. When you're in truth and you're hearing that vibration does feel very safe. And so thank you for that, first of all.
Thank you for that. That was really, really sweet to hear. Thank you.
And, I would love for you to share, I know something that I know that we've spoken a lot about, and that is the subject of financial freedom and abundance and what it truly means to be free when we're thinking in terms of our finances. And what I love also is your practical and spiritual approach. You're like practical and also spiritual in your approach to life. And so I think that would be so valuable for our listeners here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I know we've been talking about this a lot, and it has been something that I have been interested in, financial freedom for many, many, many years. And I spent so many years doing so much research and, reading different books and what systems work and, okay, money mindset, right? That's something we all hear about, and clearing our blocks to receiving abundance and all of this. And all of that's great. And there is a time and a place absolutely for all of that. But it still feels to me, when I was doing those things and researching, say, investments and, real estate and all of these things that can be super fun when you get into the thick of it. But it still always felt just tiring to me, to think about, to talk about, oh gosh, there's all these things I have to be doing and keep my money mindset. And if I'm not, feeling this way, then I'm not going to attract abundance into my life. And this, of course, bleeds into not only our finances, but everything in our life, right? The whole manifestation conversation, the whole law of attraction conversation is great. And it's missing something, right? It's missing the realization of who you really are. And so I discovered this book by Robert Scheinfeld called Busting Loose from the Money Game. And when I read his words, when I read what he was saying, it felt like you had explained recently, or just now, about being in my presence. I felt truth. I felt my soul was just crying out, yes, yes, yes. This feels true to me because my intuition, or my higher self, just knew that. And I didn't feel fatigued or tired thinking about, my budget. And because I have for so many years, as I'm sure so many of you have, a spreadsheet, right, with exactly what you spend and, income, outcome, all of that. And I'm not saying those aren't great things to do, and there's a time and a place. But when I began to use the tools from Busting Loose, and they're not just tools, it's actually just reminding yourself who the heck you really are, right? Which is infinite, which is source, which is God, whatever you want to call it. If you're religious, that's okay. You're connected to God. You are that. And for me, when you have not only the intellectual knowledge of that, because a lot of us do, right? We hear that and we go, yeah, I know, I'm a soul, and I'm not just this human physical body. I'm a spiritual being, right? Having a physical experience. We've all heard that a lot. And that's great, but having the experience of it is very different. And having that knowingness in your being is very different. And when that happens, it's like something kind of switches. And so as it pertains to money or, finances, there is no such thing as lack or limitation when you can bring this energy or essence into your human self. And that's really a lot of the work I do with people, is sort of assimilating, okay, we have this kind of woo-woo spiritual, oh yeah, this is what I am, but then I'm living here in this earth, right, as a human being. So how do I do both of those things at the same time? And of course, it's a process. It's not something that happens overnight, for sure. But when we can begin to do that, then we realize there's nothing to, like we were talking about yesterday, Kimmy, there's nothing to fix, change, or improve. There just isn't. When you have the realization of who you actually are, there can't be anything to fix, change, or improve, because you are as whole and complete as you ever could or will be. And that includes in everything you see in your physical space. And so if what you see in your physical space is not what you want to see, right? Not enough money, you think, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough of this or that, or that's feeling lack. And that's just feeling that human aspect of you is who you are, and that's all of what you are. And so when you can bring that other aspect in, it really opens up a whole new world for you. And I know that some people, this is kind of abstract, so you may not quite totally get it. And so I would just recommend for people to definitely read that book. I am working on a curriculum for this as well right now, because I'm so passionate about it, and I see how that limitation and that lack for people really just stops them from being their full potential of who they really are, right? And that's nonsense. We don't need that. So how can we bust loose? How can we break free from just living in this physical world and bring that infinite nature into who we really are? So now I know it, and this is like the end of the spectrum when you're totally living in the abstract. Like for myself, I don't check my bank account. It doesn't, because it's not real anyway. It's a creation of my consciousness. Right. So that's kind of a window, a peek into that world.
Love it.
Wow. I want to not check my bank account. That's exciting to me.
Yes, I know. Isn't it? I felt so like at first scared, like, oh my God, I can't do that. I have to, right? We're so taught and conditioned that that is what we need to do. We need to make sure we're responsible and have all of our budget and logistics and all of that. But when you trust that you're taken care of and that you know who you really are, then you don't need to do that anymore. And there's steps to get there. I'm not saying everybody just go and, don't check your bank account. I mean, you'd be fine if you did that. But, a lot of people have fear on that. And then that kind of creates other things in your world. But it's getting to that place where there's no more fear.
I love this conversation. I love the abstractness of it. And Kimmy and I were just talking about this today, where like people are here and they're craving growth and they're craving expansion and to break free from like, I don't know, this is a little dramatic, but to like break free of the shackles of their 9-to-5, right?
Yeah.
And yet the shackles are made of money. They're made of the system that keeps us dependent on money and the fear of not having it. And we've been conditioned to become these like worker bees who go to high school and then college and then get good jobs because that's the easiest, most direct way to make the money that allows you to be quote unquote successful and like comfortable, right? So that you can live until you die and all of that.
Right.
But they're right, like, but then your light isn't as bright sometimes on that path. And I just love this conversation so much.
Yay. And yay. I love it too. That's why I'm so excited to have it with you guys and with everybody. And, like I said, there's a process to sort of get yourself to that place and that empowerment and that self-actualization. And a lot of times the first step is healing what needs to be healed. Right. And then we get into the empowerment where it's like, yeah, I'm infinite and I can just rock this. I don't need to check my bank account. And then of course there's the creation piece, which is what I call when we rise and meet that soul's calling. And we can be doing all of these things simultaneously too. It's not that we can't, but yeah, so that's kind of a nutshell. I know, Kimmy, we've talked about this a lot. Is there anything else that you, want specifically?
I love that you use the word empowerment too, because to me that's what this is. This philosophy or approach is really about, and that's what the process is about. It's recognizing that we are not victims of our circumstance, right? That we're like there is no out there. We are creating our reality at all times, and so once we can appreciate the reality that we have created, even if in this human form we don't like that what it's looking like in any particular way, we still created that, and having appreciation for that and then reclaiming your power in that moment, recognizing that if I created this, I can create anything. And that is it's so empowering, and it's so different for people, right? It's very seductive and very tempting to say, no, this is my reality because of X, Y, or Z. This is because of, the circumstances that I don't control. And so this is like the ultimate freedom, right? This type of mindset.
It is.
Because it's like, well, you're completely in control. You are in control of your life. You're in control of what you create. And that is freedom. That is empowerment. And that excites us so much.
Yes.
And
I love it.
Yeah. Pua and I were just talking about how Pua and I are on the mission that we are and living the life that we are and on the path that we are because of our obsession with freedom for ourselves and freedom for our clients, freedom for the world. Like we think about this so much. And I see that in you too, right? That's why your vibe attracts tribe, right? Like kindred souls come together on this shared mission. And I think the word freedom just keeps coming up because how freeing to know that you are creating your reality. There is no greater freedom.
Absolutely. And I love that word creation, a little bit over the word control. And I totally know what you mean when you say control. So it's almost like this catch-22 or this dichotomy when we think, yes, we have the power to create. We are creating every moment, whether we know it or think it or whatever. And that creation can support our highest expansion, our highest growth, and our highest good when we quiet ourselves and when we listen to that, our inner voice, our intuition, our higher self, whatever it is that you want to call it. And that's when it's almost like we have full, it's like our higher selves are driving, knows what's best for us. So we can let go of having any sort of control over anything, knowing that when we follow our higher self and that guidance that, and that can take practice too, because we get our logical mind in there and we start thinking and we think, oh, but this is what other people are doing, or this is what society says, or this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it can seem irresponsible when you can just quiet yourself and follow the things that, especially when they don't make sense, because I know that can be really challenging. And you're like, really, guidance, that's what you want. That's what I'm supposed to be doing next. Okay. And you do that and amazing magical things happen and you are totally, fully taken care of. So it's like yes, you have this great creative power and you don't have to worry about it because it's taken care of. All you have to do is listen.
Mm. That is mind blowing. I'm like, I'm in. I'm curious. Do you have like fun stories of people who have, just said, you know what, I'm in, I'm doing it. I'm just going to do what I feel called to do. And, I am in this place now. I want to be in this place soon. And here I go.
Yeah, do I have? Sure. Oh my gosh. Totally. Myself and my clients, and the stories are absolutely, they seem like amazing to some people, but of course, when it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, because you were following.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you're following your guidance. It's just, and honestly, I can tell you that is how I've lived most of my life, not because I thought about it or because, it's almost like I had no choice to follow that inner voice inside of me. And I know a lot of my family and friends have thought, oh my God, you're nuts. Why you're doing this now? And oh my God, you're going to move to Hawaii and with 2 suitcases and no job, not know anybody and, all of that. But I was called here and I knew in my bones it was going to work out. And if it didn't work out, then that's okay. I'd move on to the next thing, So it's just, when you can let go of your thinking mind and the logical mind, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I have a lot of stories like that. And of course, my clients too, their lives basically completely change and shift for the better. So it's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pua.
No. I was just gonna ask, in terms of, so our clients are often people in that place where they may be looking for a way to turn their passion project or their side hustle or the thing that's kind of been burning a hole in their heart into a way to create financial, time, energetic freedom for themselves. And I think that's really the business that we're in, is freedom creation, which is funny because we've all been talking about that quite a bit. But your coaching framework is really, really cool. And you talked about it a little bit, Heal, Empower, Thrive. And that to me, it's just like, it's so very aligned with what we do and the people that we serve. And I'm just wondering if you have any sort of, besides, just following your heart and trusting that you will be guided and supported, because that is first and foremost what people should just meditate on today. But what kind of action step would you suggest someone take who kind of fits the description of like, all right, I'm ready to do this?
Yeah. And that's a really loaded question, because when I talk about, with my clients, of course, we have every time I meet with them, they have I call it inspiration work instead of homework, but there's always action steps to be taken. But the action steps don't come from the thinking mind. They don't come from a place of, let's make a list and knock this out. It comes from, oh, this is what I'm feeling guided to do. So I'm going to take that action step. So it's that inspired action. So for example, it's going to be different for everyone. And if someone is in a place where they really feel like, okay, yeah, I get the whole follow your heart thing, but I need to take some tangible action steps here. I'm like, all right, what would that be for you? And whoever is in that place right now, whether you're listening to your heart or listening to your head, or you don't know the difference, who cares? Just, if you need to take some action, if that's going to make you feel like, I'm doing something in the world, take out your little pen and paper and just write some things down. And you don't even have to take the action, but see how it makes you feel. And then whatever lights you up, whatever you feel excited about, yes, I want to do that thing first, right? Whatever it is, whether it's I'm going to make this call or I'm going to connect with this person. And if it scares you a little bit, even better, right? Get out of that comfort zone and, be the person in the world that that you are already. And you can do that in baby steps. So yeah, what I do is very intuitive and, we go deep, but it's also, like Kimmy said, very practical as well. So yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Love that.
It's as we were talking about recently, Tarah, it's sort of like that whatever action is going to help you to raise your vibration to a place where you remember your infinite nature, right? And if your mind is so loud and it keeps coming in, what is the lowest hanging fruit? I think you called it, right? The thing that you can do that's going to help you to at least get back into that flow state, that feeling of like, okay, I can breathe a little, and from there remember your infinite nature. So if going from where you are to I'm infinite is too much of a jump. Yeah. What are the little steps, right, that we can do in between? And it can be something as simple, right, as having more fun. What do you love? I love how you said, what lights you up? What is that thing? And, laughter, right? Laughter, music. There are so many simple, free things that we can access at all times to just get ourselves in that place of being a little bit more in the flow. So I'd love to hear what other ideas or suggestions that you have for ways to raise your vibration to that place that kind of opens up the doors, if you will, to that infinite nature.
Yes, I love that question. And of course, there's so many things and it varies. It depends, right, for everybody. But like you said, and like we were talking about yesterday, it's just getting to a place where you are feeling that lightness in your body versus like a lightness or expansion versus a contraction or a heaviness. And you can check in with yourself, at any time. So what in this moment is going to make me feel that way? And if you need to make a list and write it down and go, oh yeah, that thing, that lights me up, that excites me, let's do that. Even if it's, I'm going to listen to, my favorite, for me, Katy Perry song right now, and dance around my room. Or a lot of people, it's nature, right? We are blessed enough and lucky enough to live in Hawaii. So, for me, sometimes it's jumping in the ocean or going on a hike or just going and sitting under a tree and maybe touching the tree, remembering, oh yeah, my world is actually, I created all these, in my consciousness, all these quote unquote problems for myself, but oh my God, what does the tree have to say to me today? I know that sounds really out there for some people, but that really is helpful.
Oh, I love that so much.
Because they talk to you, the birds, everything. I mean, there's so much going on around you all the time that if you can just stop and breathe and take a moment and just have awareness of that and kind of, what I like to do too with my clients and myself is just imagine yourself in this bubble of whatever it is you're feeling, however you're feeling the space, and just step outside of it a little bit. And then what is going to get you to move back, even a little bit further? Because inside the bubble, you're having an emotion and you have a story along with that emotion, right? You have this story of, oh, this is happening because of this and I feel really bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, if I can step outside, maybe I can separate myself from that story a little bit. And maybe I still feel the way that I feel and that's okay, but I don't have a story attached to it. It's like when you're watching a movie and you're feeling all these feelings, happy and sad, but you don't stop to go, oh my God, I'm feeling this way. I need to do something about it. I have a story around it. No, you're just feeling that way and you're enjoying the ride. So if we can just get ourselves into a place where we can release the story a little bit and follow the flow of, whatever is lighting us up in the moment. And I know that was kind of a roundabout way, but to get there. But yeah, like Abraham says, get back in your vortex. Do whatever you have to do to get back in your vortex, and if you're so overwhelmed, just, let it go for a little while and go do something fun and then come back to it.
So awesome. So awesome. So you mentioned that you love to dance around to Katy Perry.
Yes.
Why Katy Perry?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I actually just did a podcast episode on this called Katy Perry, Where Are You? And I always, when in her early days, I never really listened because it's pop and it was kind of, light or whatever. And I wasn't into it. But then I started listening to an album she put out a few years ago, and the lyrics were really kind of deeper and spiritual. And I had this recognition that she is also a galactic being here from some other place to raise the vibration of her through her music, through, her whole message is empowerment, right? To girls and to women and really to everyone. And I just really connected and resonated with her. And I thought, yeah, she's my people. Like, I know her. And so, yeah, and then her music is really good vibes. If you listen to her words, it's high. It's actually pretty high vibration music.
So awesome. I always really liked her style.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And like, she's the one that wears like the candy. She has that candy outfit.
I think she used to. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My friend tried to recreate that for Halloween once. I got to send you a picture. It's pretty epic.
Send me the picture. Awesome.
All right. So Katy Perry, if you're listening to this, right? Message Tarah.
Message me. I can, help you reach, even greater impacts in the world. Yes.
Love that. Love that so much. And okay, so, wow, this has been so incredible. I just could talk to you forever. Okay, so let's share with us, what exciting things do you have coming up? Any events or other things? What projects are you working on?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. I do. I have something called, I have an online masterclass I'm doing. And this is really cool because not only, people locally in Hawaii, but basically you have a computer, you can get there. But it's my online masterclass called Rise, Your Soul is Calling. So it's really for those folks who are ready to meet their soul's calling, to listen, to start taking those action steps, and to really just know that they're not alone in the world. For my galactic peeps who are like, oh, I'm just, I'll never fit in, whatever. I just want to go home. If you're really feeling that way, this class is for you if you're ready to meet your soul's calling. And that's going to be September, I think it's going to be right after this airs, which is September 13th and the 16th. I'm doing 2 different dates, so you can join us for one or both. And you can find the sign-up link at wideawakenhealing.com/rise-with-Tarah.
Perfect. And if somebody's listening to this and they're like, wait, am I a galactic being? I don't know if I am. Don't you have a download that people can find?
I do. Yes, it is. And it's on my new website, which will be ready by then, but that's at tarahsyel.com and TARAHCYEL.com. And it's called 29 Signs You're Probably an Alien.
I love that so much.
If you're not sure, if you are, you just go, and it's probably not even what you would think. But yeah, go ahead and download that. It's a free guide, and it'll tell you if you're in the right place. So if you're not sure, absolutely.
That's so fun. And definitely check out Tarah's podcast. You can find that on iTunes and all the places, Wide Awakened Healing. And we'll be sure to include links to all of this in the show notes. But any final words to our amazing audience here?
I would just invite everyone to take this moment to just love themselves where they're at completely, and just accept where they're at completely, knowing that it's actually exactly where you're supposed to be right now, and just take that in and really breathe that unconditional love for yourself. And that will, of course, flow out into the world.
Beautiful. We love you, Tarah, so much.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tarah.